The Galactic Academy's massive training hall was filled with students from dozens of species. The bright artificial lighting reflected off the polished floors as cadets settled into their seats. Today was an important day, the start of the mandatory safety course, a program designed to teach all species how to survive in dangerous situations. Professor Klix, a tall, insectoid alien with shimmering blue carapace, stood at the front of the room. His antennae twitched as he observed the students. He had taught this course for over 20 years, and in his experience, some species struggled more than others, especially humans. His eyes narrowed as he spotted a group of human cadets sitting at the back. Unlike the other students, who seemed nervous, the humans were relaxed, even bored. One of them, a broad-shouldered male named Ryan, leaned back in his chair with his hands behind his head. A female, Ava, tapped her fingers impatiently on the table. Klix cleared his throat. The room fell silent. "Welcome to the Galactic Academy safety course." His voice clicked and echoed through the hall. "This training is essential. Many of you come from peaceful worlds, where nature is gentle and survival is easy. But the galaxy is full of danger. Accidents, fires, predator attacks, spacecraft failures. Without proper training, you will not last long." He let his gaze settle on the humans. "Some of you may believe you already know how to survive. But arrogance is dangerous." A few students chuckled, glancing at the humans. Ryan smirked but said nothing. Professor Klix activated the holoscreen behind him. A detailed simulation of a burning spaceship appeared. This is a common scenario: fire in a pressurized environment. Most species panic. They run. But if you do not follow procedures, you will asphyxiate before you reach the escape pods. A reptilian student raised his claw. "Professor, do we have real-world training or only theory?" Klix's mandibles clicked in amusement. "Both." The murmurs in the room increased. Some students looked uneasy, others excited. The humans, however, looked indifferent. Klix switched the display to an image of an alien jungle. "You will face different survival challenges. Limited food, dangerous predators, hostile weather. We will teach you how to handle these threats." Ava yawned. Klix's mandibles twitched in irritation. "Something wrong, cadet." Ava sat up. "No offense, sir, but we've already done survival training." Klix tilted his head. "Have you now?" Ryan grinned. "Humans come from a death world. We learned survival as kids." A few alien cadets scoffed. One, a bird-like avian named Till, flapped his wings in amusement. "A death world. Earth isn't that bad." Ava raised an eyebrow. "Tell that to the hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires, and apex predators." Ryan leaned forward. "How many of you had to worry about multiple animals hunting you at the same time, or ice storms that can kill in minutes?" The room was silent. Some students shifted uncomfortably. Even Klix hesitated before responding. "You may have experience," Klix admitted, "but this course is mandatory for all species." The door to the training hall opened. 2 security drones floated in, carrying a large crate. The students turned to watch as the crate was lowered onto the floor with a heavy thud. Klix gestured to the crate. "Since you are so confident, let's test your skills. Inside this crate are survival items. Each of you will take only one and explain how you would use it." The students lined up. One by one, they selected items. A reptilian cadet picked a fire starter. A feline-like alien chose a water purifier. Till, the avian, picked a flare gun. When it was Ava's turn, she reached into the crate and pulled out a roll of duct tape. The room filled with laughter. Even Klix chuckled. "That is your survival tool." Ava grinned. "You'll see." Ryan stepped up next and grabbed a multi-tool. He gave Ava a nod before stepping back. Once everyone had their items, Klix activated the final part of the lesson. "Tomorrow, you will be placed into simulated survival scenarios. Let's see how well your death world instincts serve you." Ryan and Ava exchanged a glance. The real fun was about to begin. The next day, the cadets stood in front of a large, reinforced door deep within the Galactic Academy's training facility. The walls hummed with energy as the simulation chamber powered up. Professor Klix stood before them, his antennae twitching in anticipation. Today's test will determine your ability to survive under realistic conditions. You will be dropped into an unknown environment. Your objective: survive for 24 hours using only the tools you selected yesterday. The door behind him hissed open, revealing a glowing blue portal. The cadets murmured in excitement and nervousness. Klix's compound eyes locked onto Ryan and Ava. I look forward to seeing how well Deathworlders adapt. Ryan smirked. Same here, Professor. One by one, the cadets stepped through the portal, disappearing into the simulation. When it was Ryan and Ava's turn, they exchanged a look before stepping forward together. The moment they emerged, chaos greeted them. They stood in a dense, alien jungle, the air thick with humidity. Strange, towering trees loomed above, their bark glowing faintly. The ground was covered in tangled vines, some moving on their own. In the distance, something large growled. Ava took a deep breath. Smells like home. Ryan chuckled. Feels like a Tuesday. Other cadets appeared behind them, eyes wide in fear. Till, the avian, flapped his wings frantically, barely keeping his balance as he landed on a rock. This isn't like the Academy's botanical gardens. A reptilian cadet hissed. Of course not. We were supposed to get a basic survival test, not a death trap. Professor Klix's voice crackled over their comms. Welcome to K-72, an uncharted planet in the galactic database. This is a Level 5 hazard environment. Dangerous wildlife, unpredictable weather, and limited resources. You will not be rescued unless there is a life-threatening emergency. The students froze. Level 5, one whispered. That's just below a Deathworld rating. Ryan grinned. Sounds fun. Ava stretched her arms. All right, let's get started. Step 1, shelter. The other cadets looked at her like she was insane. We need to call for extraction. Till squawked. Ryan shook his head. You'll waste energy panicking. Trust me. First thing you do in an unknown environment. Secure shelter. Klix's voice came again, laced with amusement. Let's see if your Deathworld instincts are as good as you claim. The test had truly begun. The jungle was alive. Every branch, every leaf, every shadow seemed to hide something watching. Strange insect-like creatures chirped from the trees, their glowing eyes tracking every movement. In the distance, something large crashed through the undergrowth. The cadets huddled together, fear creeping in. Ryan knelt, running his hand through the dirt. Soil's loose. Could mean underground burrows. He glanced at Ava. We need high ground. Ava nodded. Agreed. Staying on the ground makes us an easy meal. Till flapped his wings, eyes wide. Meal. A reptilian cadet growled. We shouldn't be discussing how not to die. We should be calling for extraction. Ryan rolled his eyes. Go ahead. The reptilian tapped his communicator. Static. His scales paled. Ava smirked. Oh yeah. Klix said we'd be stuck here unless we were dying. The group went silent. Ava turned back to Ryan. Tree line looks climbable. Ryan surveyed the thick trees around them. Their bark glowed faintly, but the branches were thick and sturdy. He grabbed a nearby vine and gave it a hard tug. It held firm. All right, Ryan said. We go up. One of the insectoid cadets hesitated. You expect us to climb? Ryan shrugged. Or stay down here with whatever's growling over there. As if on cue, a deep guttural roar shook the trees. Something massive was getting closer. No one hesitated after that. Ava was up first, moving with practiced ease. Ryan followed, his grip firm on the vines. The others scrambled behind, struggling but desperate to get off the ground. Just as the last cadet pulled himself up, the bushes exploded below. A creature lurched out, its massive form covered in black chitinous armor. It sniffed the air, its 6 red eyes scanning the area. Razor-sharp mandibles clicked as it let out another rumbling snarl. The cadets froze, barely daring to breathe. The beast sniffed again, then tilted its head toward the trees. Ava tensed. If it climbs, we're screwed. Ryan watched the creature carefully. After a moment, he grinned. Nah, it's a ground hunter. Till gulped. And how do you know that? Ryan pointed at the beast's massive, clawed legs, built for charging, not climbing. It'll look around, then move on. The others stared at him in disbelief. Till whispered, "How are you so calm?" Ryan smirked. "Because on Earth, we've got worse." The alien cadets shivered. The creature growled once more before stomping away into the jungle. Only when its footsteps faded did the cadets finally exhale. Ava smirked at Ryan. "You always have to freak them out, don't you?" Ryan chuckled. "It's not my fault if the truth is terrifying." The cadets, still shaken, didn't argue. The night was alive with danger. Strange lights flickered in the dense jungle, casting eerie shadows. The trees whispered in the wind, but the cadets knew something else was moving out there. Something watching. Ava and Ryan crouched on a thick tree branch, surveying the land below. The rest of the cadets clung to the tree, barely holding their fear in check. Till's wings twitched. "How long? Do we stay here?" Ryan scanned the jungle floor. "Until we know it's safe." A reptilian cadet growled. That monster could still be out there. Ryan smirked. "Yeah, but we're not on the ground, are we?" Till swallowed hard. "But we can't just stay in a tree forever." Ava adjusted her grip on a vine. "He's right. We need supplies. Food, water, a better shelter." Ryan nodded. "Agreed. We move at first light." The group fell silent, listening to the distant howls of unseen creatures. Morning came, but it brought no comfort. The jungle seemed darker than before, the air thick with humidity. The ground was littered with fresh claw marks. Till's feathers ruffled. "I don't like this." Ryan motioned for the group to follow. "Stay low. Stay quiet." Moving through the jungle was a challenge. The thick roots tangled their feet, the air was heavy, and strange sounds echoed from all directions. Every shadow could hide something deadly. Then they saw it. A ruined structure, half buried in vines. Ava narrowed her eyes. "What is that?" Ryan stepped closer, brushing aside the leaves. The walls were cracked, but the structure still stood. Metal, not stone. Till hesitated. Ancient ruins. Ryan shook his head. "No, this is human-made." The others stiffened. Till blinked. "But this planet is unexplored." Ryan's jaw tightened. "Then we need to find out why this is here." Ava stepped beside him. "And see if there's anything inside we can use." The cadets exchanged nervous glances. Ryan took a deep breath. Then, without another word, he stepped inside. The darkness swallowed him whole. Ryan stepped into the ruined structure, his heart pounding. The air inside was stale, thick with dust and decay. Faint light filtered through cracks in the ceiling, casting eerie shadows on the walls. Ava followed, her hand resting on the grip of her survival knife. Behind them, Till and the others hesitated at the entrance. "This place feels wrong," Till muttered, his wings twitching. Ryan ignored him and moved deeper inside. The walls were covered in strange markings, some scratched out, others barely visible beneath layers of dirt. He ran his fingers over them. Human writing. Ava squinted. "It's old. Really old." Ryan nodded. "But it means someone like us was here before." Till's feathers fluffed. "Humans?" Ryan didn't answer. His focus was on a large metal door at the end of the corridor. The edges were rusted, but the center was dented, like something had tried to break in. Ava pointed at the scratches near the lock. "Claw marks." Till stepped back. "This was a mistake. We shouldn't be here." Ryan smirked. Too late. He grabbed a loose pipe from the floor and jammed it into the door's weakest point. With a grunt, he pushed. The metal groaned. A crack formed. Then, with a deafening screech, the door lurched open. Dust billowed into the air, revealing a darkened chamber beyond. Ryan flicked on his wrist light. The beam cut through the blackness and landed on something horrifying. Rows of skeletal remains, all humanoid, piled against the far wall. The silence in the room turned heavy. Ava swallowed hard. What happened here? Till shook his head, eyes wide with fear. We need to leave. Now. Ryan took a slow step forward. His light caught a message, scratched into the metal wall just above the remains. 4 words. Deep, desperate carvings. It's still down here. The temperature seemed to drop. Ava whispered, Ryan. Then, from the darkness behind them, something moved. A low, guttural sound echoed through the chamber. Ryan froze. The air turned heavy, pressing against his skin like an invisible weight. Ava shifted closer to him, her breath shallow. Till whimpered, I told you, we should not be here. Ryan raised his light, scanning the room. Nothing. Just the piles of bones and the eerie message scratched into the wall. But he had heard it. Something was here. Ava pointed her knife toward the open doorway. We need to leave. Now. Ryan took a cautious step forward, then stopped. The dust in the air, it was moving. Not from them. Something else had disturbed it. Ryan clenched his jaw. Run. Ava didn't hesitate. Till and the others turned and bolted toward the exit. Ryan followed, keeping his light aimed behind them. Then he saw it. A shadow, slithering along the walls, moving with an unnatural speed. It had no form, just darkness, shifting, watching. Ryan's heart pounded. Not human, not animal, something else. The thing lunged. Ava shoved Till through the door first. Move, move. Ryan turned to slam the heavy metal door shut. But it wouldn't budge. The darkness poured forward, reaching, stretching. Till let out a piercing shriek. Ava yanked on Ryan's arm. Ryan. Now. He let go of the door and ran. Behind them, the walls shook. The metal groaned as something scraped against it, like claws on steel. Till was panting, his wings twitching wildly. What? What was that? Ryan didn't answer. His mind was racing. They had to get out. Then the worst thing happened. The tunnel had collapsed. Ava barely stopped in time, dirt and rubble raining down, blocking their exit. No, 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 she yelled, kicking at the debris. Ryan turned. The darkness at the other end of the tunnel stirred. It was still coming. No way forward, no way back. They were trapped. Ava's breath was ragged. Till was shaking. Ryan kept his eyes on the shifting darkness at the end of the tunnel. It wasn't attacking yet, just waiting, watching. That was worse. We're trapped, Till whispered, voice full of panic. We can't. Ryan grabbed him by the shoulders. Breathe. Panicking will get us killed. Till's trembling slowed. Ava took a deep breath. Options. Ryan scanned their surroundings. The tunnel walls were solid stone, reinforced with rusted metal beams. The cave-in had blocked their exit completely. No easy way out. Behind them, the shadow shifted, inching closer. Ryan's mind raced. There has to be another way. These tunnels are old. There might be a maintenance shaft, an air vent, something. Ava swung her light upward. There, a small opening near the ceiling, barely big enough for them to squeeze through. Up there, she said. We climb. Till's wings fluttered. I don't think I can. The shadow surged forward. No more time. Ryan grabbed Till and threw him up toward the opening. Ava boosted him, and he scrambled inside, his talons scratching against the stone. Ava climbed next, her movement swift. Ryan turned back just as the darkness lashed out. It touched the ground where he stood. The stone cracked. Ryan jumped. His fingers caught the edge of the opening just as the tunnel floor crumbled beneath him. He dangled, legs kicking over the abyss. Ava grabbed his wrist. "Hold on." Ryan's muscles burned. The shadow swirled below, reaching. Till yanked his arm. Ava pulled. With one final effort, Ryan lunged upward and rolled into the shaft, just as the darkness consumed the tunnel below. They lay there, gasping for breath. Ryan turned his head, looking down into the black void where the tunnel used to be. It was gone. Everything was gone. But the shadow was still there, waiting. Ryan met Ava's gaze. This wasn't over. Not even close.